The attic was dusty and filled with boxes stacked almost to the ceiling. Sunlight peeked through a small window, casting streaks of light on old furniture and forgotten trinkets. Alex wiped his hands on his jeans and looked around with a mix of curiosity and boredom. Why did Mom ask us to clean this place? It's like a time capsule up here, he said, pushing a box aside. His younger sister, Mia, peeked into an old chest. Because she thinks we have too much junk. Look at this, Alex, it's full of old books. She held up a tattered journal with yellowed pages, her eyes sparkling with interest. Alex rummaged through another pile and suddenly froze. Mia, look at this. He pulled out a large folded piece of parchment. The edges were frayed and the paper looked ancient. Unfolding it carefully, he revealed what appeared to be a map. It was filled with strange markings, lines, and symbols. Is that a treasure map? Mia asked, leaning in closer. Maybe, Alex replied, studying it. Look, it says river here and over here, mountain. He traced the faded words with his finger. Mia tilted her head. What do these other words mean? Bridge, forest, and treasure. Her voice rose with excitement. Alex grinned. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's follow it. But where do we start? Mia asked, glancing at the map. Here, Alex said, pointing to a mark labeled house at the edge of the map. That's us. The first step is to find the river. Mia hesitated. Do you think it's real? I mean, an actual treasure? Alex shrugged but smiled. Who cares? Even if there's no treasure, it'll be an adventure. Come on. The two siblings grabbed flashlights and a small backpack for supplies. As they headed downstairs, Mia clutched the map tightly, her imagination already racing. The warm afternoon sun greeted them as they stepped outside. Alex glanced at the map again and nodded. The river should be just past the edge of the forest. Let's go. Mia giggled nervously. This is so exciting. But what if it leads to something dangerous? Alex rolled his eyes. Dangerous? Mia, it's just a map. Relax. As they started walking toward the forest, a gentle breeze rustled the trees. The adventure had officially begun. The forest was alive with the sounds of birds chirping and leaves rustling in the wind. Alex and Mia followed the narrow dirt path that wound through the tall trees. The map was clutched tightly in Alex's hands, and Mia walked close behind, peeking over his shoulder. How far do you think the river is? Mia asked, her voice echoing softly among the trees. Alex squinted at the map. It shouldn't be too far. The river is marked just past the forest, see? He pointed to a small, wavy line sketched on the parchment. Mia nodded but frowned slightly. What if we're reading it wrong? It's an old map. Then we'll figure it out, Alex replied confidently. Maps don't just stop working because they're old. After about 20 minutes of walking, the trees began to thin, and they could hear the faint sound of running water. We're close, Mia said, breaking into a light jog. The siblings emerged from the forest, and saw the river glistening under the sun. It flowed steadily, its surface reflecting the blue sky above. Large rocks jutted out from the water, and a wooden sign stood near the bank. The map was right, Alex exclaimed, holding it up triumphantly. Mia knelt by the edge of the river, letting her fingers skim the cool water. But where's the treasure? Or the next clue? Alex scanned the area. His eyes landed on a large flat stone near the water's edge. Over there. That stone looks different. The two approached the rock, and sure enough, there was something carved into its surface. It was a symbol, a circle with a line through the middle, and beneath it were the words, "Follow the river to the bridge." Mia traced the carving with her finger. Follow the river. Okay, that's simple enough. Yeah, but how far is the bridge? Alex wondered aloud, looking downstream. Mia glanced around and spotted an older man fishing nearby. Maybe we can ask him. The man wore a wide-brimmed hat and had a calm, friendly demeanor. As they approached, he looked up and smiled. Well, hello there. What brings you kids out here? Hi, Alex said. We're following this map and it says there's a bridge down the river. Do you know where it is? The man chuckled. A map, huh? Sounds like an adventure. He pointed downstream. The bridge isn't far. Just follow the river for about half a mile and you'll see it. It's an old wooden bridge, hard to miss. Thank you, Mia said, her excitement bubbling over. Good luck, the man said with a wink, and watch your step near the bridge. It's seen better days. As they continued along the riverbank, Mia glanced at Alex. Did you hear what he said about the bridge? It might be dangerous, Alex shrugged. We'll be fine. Let's just keep going. The journey along the river was peaceful. They saw ducks swimming in the water and even spotted a deer drinking near the edge. The scenery was beautiful, but Mia's mind was focused on what might lie ahead. After a while, they spotted the bridge in the distance. It was exactly as the man had described, an old wooden structure with planks that looked weathered and worn. It spanned the width of the river, connecting the two sides. There it is, Alex said, picking up the pace. Mia hesitated. Do you think it's safe to cross? We'll find out, Alex said, already stepping onto the first plank. The wood creaked under his weight, but it held. He turned back and waved at Mia. Come on, it's fine. Reluctantly, Mia followed. The bridge swayed slightly with each step, and she clutched the railing tightly. I don't like this, she muttered. When they reached the middle of the bridge, Alex stopped and pointed to the railing. Look, another clue. Carved into the wood was a short riddle. Between the trees, beneath the hill, the great oak stands, silent and still. Mia read the words aloud. Between the trees, beneath the hill. What does that mean? It means the next clue is at a big oak tree, Alex said, grinning. Come on, let's get off this bridge and find it. As they stepped off the bridge and back onto solid ground, Mia let out a sigh of relief. Okay, now we're looking for a hill with a big tree? Exactly, Alex said, holding the map up again. And it's marked right here. They continued their journey, the excitement building with every step. Alex and Mia continued along the dirt path that wound through the trees, the map guiding their steps. The forest became denser, and the sun overhead was partially blocked by the thick canopy. The sound of birds chirping and leaves rustling filled the air, but Mia couldn't stop glancing around nervously. "So, we're looking for a hill," Mia said, holding the map up to double-check. "And somewhere near it there's a giant oak tree?" "Exactly," Alex replied, his eyes scanning the path ahead. The riddle said, "Between the trees, beneath the hill." That's gotta mean it's not at the top of the hill, but somewhere lower down. They walked for another 20 minutes until they saw the land start to slope upward. "There it is," Alex said, pointing to a large hill in the distance. As they approached, Mia noticed several trees clustered at the base of the hill. "There are so many trees. How do we know which one is the oak?" Alex shrugged. "We'll just have to look for the biggest one." The siblings began searching the area, weaving between the trunks. Some trees were tall and thin, others shorter with wide branches, but none seemed to match what they were looking for. After several minutes of searching, Mia suddenly stopped. "Alex, over here!" He rushed to her side and followed her gaze. There it was, a massive oak tree, its trunk wide enough that it would take several people, holding hands to encircle it. The branches stretched high into the sky, and the roots sprawled out across the ground like the tentacles of a giant octopus. "This has to be it," Mia said, walking up to the tree. "It's huge." Alex examined the trunk carefully. "There's gotta be a clue here somewhere." They circled the tree, looking for anything unusual. Finally, Mia spotted something carved into the bark. "Here," she said, pointing. Alex leaned in to read it. "Dig beneath the roots to find what you seek. But beware, the treasure is not what it seems." Mia frowned. "We have to dig, but we didn't bring a shovel." Alex smiled and pulled a small trowel from the backpack. "That's why I packed this." "Seriously?" Mia laughed. "You're such a Boy Scout." The two of them got to work, digging around the base of the tree. The soil was soft, but the roots made it tricky to get very far. After a few minutes, Mia's trowel hit something hard. "Alex, I found something," she said excitedly. Alex crouched beside her and helped clear away the dirt. Slowly, a small wooden box came into view. It was old and covered in scratches, with a simple metal latch keeping it shut. "This must be it," Alex said, brushing the dirt off the top. Mia reached out to open the latch, but Alex stopped her. "Wait," the riddle said, "the treasure is not what it seems. What do you think that means?" Mia paused, her hand hovering over the box. Maybe it's not gold or jewels. Maybe it's something else." Alex nodded. "Okay, let's find out." Mia carefully unlatched the box and opened it. Inside, there was no gold, no sparkling treasure. Instead, they found a small leather-bound notebook and a folded piece of paper. What's this? Mia asked, picking up the notebook. Alex unfolded the paper and read it aloud. The greatest treasure is knowledge. With every step you've taken, you've learned more than you knew before. Continue your journey, and you'll find that the real reward is the adventure itself. Mia blinked. That's it? No treasure? Alex laughed. Well, I guess it depends on how you define treasure. Mia flipped through the notebook. It looks like a journal. There are notes and sketches of different places. Maybe it belonged to the person who made the map. Maybe, Alex said, examining the journal over her shoulder. And look, there's a list of more places to explore. This isn't the end of the map. It's just the beginning, Mia smiled. So the treasure isn't just about finding something, it's about learning and exploring. Exactly, Alex said. And I think we've already found a lot of treasure today. The two of them sat under the giant oak tree, flipping through the pages of the journal and imagining the adventures that still lay ahead. As Alex and Mia sat beneath the sprawling branches of the oak tree, they pored over the weathered pages of the journal. The handwriting was neat but slightly faded, and each page was filled with sketches, notes, and what looked like riddles. This is amazing, Alex said, turning a page to reveal a detailed drawing of a mountain range. Look at this. Whoever made this journal was an adventurer just like us. Mia traced a finger over the sketches of trees, rivers, and strange symbols. It's like a guidebook for their journey. But what's this? She pointed to a section with a heading that read, "The Compass of Truth." Alex read the passage aloud. To those who find this journal, know that your journey is far from over. The compass of truth will guide you to places unknown and reveal answers you didn't know you sought. But beware, each step will test your courage, wisdom, and heart. Mia's eyes widened. The compass of truth? Do you think it's real? Why not? Alex said, flipping to the next page. Look, there's a map here. The map was smaller and more detailed than the one they'd found in the attic. It showed a series of landmarks, each marked with a symbol. The first symbol was a circle, with a line through it, the same one they'd seen at the river. This matches our map, Alex said. It's like a continuation. Mia nodded, her excitement growing. But what does it mean by tests? Do you think there are more riddles or challenges? Probably, Alex said with a grin, but that's what makes it fun. As they studied the map, Mia noticed a note scrawled in the corner. The first step is the Well of Echoes. Speak your truth, and it will guide your way. Mia tilted her head. The Well of Echoes? That sounds mysterious. It's the next stop, Alex said, standing up and brushing dirt off his jeans. Let's go find it. Mia hesitated. Wait, shouldn't we take a break? We've been walking for hours. Alex checked his watch. It's only mid-afternoon. We've got plenty of daylight left. Come on, Mia, don't you want to see what's next? Mia sighed but smiled. All right, fine. Let's do it. They packed the journal and the original map into Alex's backpack and set off toward the next destination. According to the journal's map, The Well of Echoes was located just beyond a rocky ridge on the other side of the hill. As they climbed the hill, the air grew cooler and the trees became sparse. When they reached the top, they could see the ridge in the distance. Beyond it, the land stretched out into a wide, open plain. "There it is," Alex said, pointing. "The ridge. The well should be on the other side." Mia squinted. "Are you sure we're going the right way? What if the journal is wrong?" Alex shook his head. "It's been right so far, trust me." They descended the hill and approached the ridge. The terrain became rougher, with jagged rocks jutting out from the ground. Mia stumbled once but caught herself. "Be careful," Alex said, offering her a hand. When they finally reached the other side of the ridge, they saw it, a circular stone structure in the middle of the plain. It was covered in moss and looked ancient, as if it had been there for centuries. "That must be the Well of Echoes," Alex said, his voice filled with awe. Mia approached cautiously. It looked so old. "Do you think it still works?" Alex leaned over the edge of the well and peered inside. The interior was dark, but he could hear the faint sound of water dripping below. "There's definitely water down there," he said. "But what did the journal say?" "Speak your truth?" Mia nodded. "Yeah. What does that mean?" Alex thought for a moment. "Maybe we're supposed to say something honest, like a secret?" Mia frowned. "A secret? That's kind of weird." "Well, it's worth a try," Alex said. He took a deep breath and said, I sometimes pretend I'm braver than I really am." His voice echoed down the well, and for a moment, nothing happened. Then, a faint light appeared at the bottom, glowing softly. Mia gasped. "Did you see that? It lit up." "Your turn," Alex said, stepping back. Mia hesitated, then stepped closer to the well. She thought for a moment, then said, "I'm afraid I'll never be as confident as you, Alex." Her voice echoed, and the light at the bottom grew brighter. Suddenly, a soft rumbling sound came from the well, and a small compartment on the side slid open, revealing a metal object. Alex reached in and pulled it out. It was a small, intricately designed compass with strange symbols etched into its surface. "The compass of truth," Alex whispered. Mia stared at it in amazement. "It's real, but what does it do?" Alex held it up, and the needle began to spin. After a moment, it settled, pointing toward the horizon. "It's pointing the way," Alex said, a grin spreading across his face. "To where?" Mia asked. "I guess we'll have to find out," Alex replied. Alex and Mia stood in silence, staring at the compass of truth as its needle quivered slightly, then steadied, pointing toward a dense forest on the horizon. The symbols etched around its rim shimmered faintly in the sunlight. "Looks like that's where we're headed," Alex said, pointing toward the trees in the distance. Mia hesitated. "Do you think it's safe?" "I mean, what if a compass is leading us into trouble?" Alex smiled reassuringly. "Come on, Mia. The journal said it would guide us to answers. Don't you want to see where it takes us?" She sighed, nodding reluctantly. All right, but if something jumps out at us, you're going first. The siblings began their journey toward the forest. The path was uneven, with patches of tall grass and loose stones slowing their pace. As they walked, the compass needle remained steady, pointing directly ahead. What do you think the symbols mean? Mia asked, glancing at the compass. Alex studied it as they walked, not sure. They look like they could be part of a code or a language, maybe something ancient. We should check the journal later to see if there's a clue. The closer they got to the forest, the darker it appeared. The trees were tall and thick, their branches intertwining to form a canopy that blocked out much of the sunlight. This place looks straight out of a fairy tale, Mia murmured as they entered. A creepy one, Alex added, glancing around warily. The air was cool and damp, and the forest was eerily quiet except for the crunching of leaves beneath their feet. Every now and then, they'd hear the distant call of a bird or the rustling of branches, but the stillness made Mia uneasy. After walking for what felt like hours, they reached a clearing. In the center stood a tall stone archway covered in vines. Strange markings, similar to those on the compass, were carved into its surface. This has to be it, Alex said, holding up the compass. The needle was now pointing directly at the archway. Mia tilted her head, studying the carvings. Do you think we're supposed to go through it? Only one way to find out, Alex said, stepping forward. As he approached the archway, a faint hum filled the air. The carvings on the stone began to glow, and a shimmering barrier appeared within the arch. Mia gasped. It's a portal? Looks like it, Alex said, though he sounded unsure. Wait, Mia said, grabbing his arm. What if this is one of the tests? What if something happens when we go through? Alex glanced at the compass. It hasn't led us wrong so far. Besides, we won't know unless we try. Taking a deep breath, Alex stepped through the shimmering barrier. For a moment, it felt like he was walking through water cool and weightless. When he emerged on the other side, he found himself in a completely different landscape. Mia, it's fine. Come on through, he called. Mia hesitated, then stepped through the portal. The sensation was strange but brief, and when she opened her eyes, she found herself standing beside Alex in a vast open meadow. The sky above them was a brilliant shade of blue, and the air smelled of wildflowers. This is incredible, Mia said, looking around. Alex pointed ahead. Look, in the middle of the meadow was a small stone pedestal. On top of it sat a golden key, glowing faintly in the sunlight. Another clue, Alex said, starting toward it. As they approached the pedestal, the ground beneath their feet began to tremble. The air grew colder and the sky darkened. Alex? Mia said nervously. Before they could reach the key, the earth in front of them split open and a figure emerged. It was tall and cloaked in shadows, with glowing red eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. Who dares seek the key of wisdom? The figure boomed, its voice echoing across the meadow. Alex and Mia froze. We do, Alex said, his voice shaking slightly. The figure loomed closer. Then you must prove your worth. Answer this question truthfully, or leave this place forever. What's the question? Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The figure raised a hand, and the ground beneath them glowed with the same symbols as the compass. Its voice rumbled like thunder. What is it that you fear most, and why? Mia's heart raced. She glanced at Alex, who looked equally uneasy. You go first, she whispered. Alex swallowed hard and stepped forward. I fear failing. Failing the people I care about. Failing to do the right thing. Because I don't want to let anyone down. The figure was silent for a moment, then turned its glowing eyes to Mia. And you? Mia's hands trembled as she stepped forward. I fear being invisible. Being forgotten, because I want to matter. The figure studied them both, its red eyes narrowing. Then, with a deep rumble, it stepped aside. You have spoken truthfully. The key is yours. But remember, true wisdom lies not in the answers, but in the questions you ask. The figure dissolved into shadows, and the sky cleared. Alex and Mia approached the pedestal, and Alex picked up the key. As he held it, the compass began to glow. The needle spun wildly before settling on a new direction. Looks like it's pointing us to the next test, Alex said, his confidence returning. Mia nodded. Let's hope the next one isn't as terrifying. The compass now pointed toward the far side of the meadow, where a dense mist hung in the air. Alex and Mia followed its guidance, their footsteps crunching on the soft grass as the sunlight dimmed behind thickening clouds. The golden key, now tucked into Alex's pocket, felt heavier than it should. Mia couldn't help but glance back at the pedestal, half expecting the shadowy figure to reappear. Do you think we'll meet more guardians? She asked. Alex shrugged. Probably. But at least we know how it works. Now honesty seems to be the key. Mia gave him a weak smile. Let's just hope the next test doesn't involve more shadow monsters. The mist grew denser as they walked, and soon they found themselves at the edge of a steep ravine. A narrow stone bridge stretched across the chasm, its surface slick with moss. On the other side, the outline of a tall gate was barely visible through the fog. Look safe, Alex said sarcastically, peering over the edge. The ravine was so deep they couldn't see the bottom, only hear the faint rush of water far below. Mia folded her arms. What do you think this test is about? Before Alex could answer, the compass began to glow again. Its needle pointed directly across the bridge, and words started to appear in faint light around its rim. Alex read them aloud. Choose wisely, for each step reveals your path. That doesn't sound ominous at all, Mia muttered. Alex looked at the bridge. It's probably another puzzle. Let's take it slow. They stepped onto the bridge together, and as soon as their feet touched the stone, glowing symbols appeared beneath them. Each step revealed a new symbol, some familiar from the compass, and others completely strange. Okay, This is definitely part of the test, Alex said, examining the glowing patterns. The bridge suddenly rumbled, and a deep voice echoed from the mist. Two paths lie before you, one of courage and one of caution. Which will you walk? The siblings exchanged a nervous glance. What does it mean? Mia asked. Alex pointed at the symbols. Maybe it's about which symbols we step on. Look, some of these match the ones on the compass. Mia crouched to inspect them. And the others don't. Do you think stepping on the wrong one could, I don't know, trigger something? Only one way to find out, Alex said. He took a deep breath and stepped onto a symbol that matched one from the compass. The bridge steadied, and the glowing lines around the symbol pulsed softly. Looks like that's the right one, Alex said, relief in his voice. Your turn. Mia hesitated but followed his lead, stepping onto another matching symbol. The bridge held firm. They continued this way, moving cautiously and choosing symbols from the compass. But as they reached the halfway point, the symbols began to repeat, and some glowed brighter than others. Wait, Mia said, holding Alex back. Look at that one, it's glowing differently. Maybe it's a trick? Alex frowned. Or maybe it's a clue. The voice said we had two paths, right? Courage or caution. What if this is where we have to decide? Mia glanced at the glowing symbol, then at the dimmer one beside it. Which one do we pick? Alex thought for a moment. If this is about courage and caution, maybe the glowing one is the courageous path, and the dim one is the cautious one. Mia bit her lip. But what if we're wrong? Alex stepped forward, placing his foot on the glowing symbol. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the bridge shook, and a gust of wind swept through the ravine. Alex, Mia cried, reaching for him. I'm fine, he called back, steadying himself. But I think this is the challenge. It's harder, but it's not breaking. Come on. Mia hesitated, her heart pounding, then stepped onto the glowing symbol. The wind howled around her, but she managed to stay upright. They continued this way, choosing the glowing symbols and braving the increasingly difficult conditions. The wind grew stronger and the mist thickened, making it hard to see the next step. I can't see. Mia shouted over the roar of the wind. Just follow my voice. Alex called back. Step by step, they moved forward, their determination pushing them through the chaos. Finally, they reached the end of the bridge, where the gate stood tall and imposing. As they stepped onto solid ground, the wind ceased and the mist began to clear. The gate creaked open, revealing a winding path leading into the woods beyond. We made it, Mia said, her voice trembling with relief. Alex grinned, holding up the compass. And look, the needles already pointing to the next destination. Mia glanced at the compass, then at the path ahead. What do you think's waiting for us this time? Alex's grin softened into a determined smile. Only one way to find out. The path through the woods was winding and quiet, with only the occasional rustle of leaves breaking the silence. The compass needle glowed steadily, pointing them toward their final destination. Alex and Mia walked in thoughtful silence, the challenges they had faced weighing on their minds. "Do you think we're ready for whatever comes next?" Mia asked, breaking the quiet. Alex glanced at her. "We've made it this far. I think we can handle anything." Mia nodded, though doubt still lingered in her expression. The path led them to the edge of a cliff overlooking a vast valley. In the distance, a towering structure made of crystal and stone sparkled in the sunlight. "That must be it," Alex said, pointing toward the tower. "How do we get there?" Mia asked, scanning the landscape. As if in response, the compass began to hum softly. The ground beneath them shifted, and a series of stone platforms rose from the valley below, forming a path that led directly to the tower. "Guess we're walking," Alex said with a nervous laugh. The platforms were sturdy but narrow, and each step required careful balance. The wind picked up as they crossed, carrying with it a faint melody that seemed to come from the tower itself. "What is that sound?" Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," Alex said, his eyes fixed on the glowing tower, "but it feels important." When they finally reached the base of the tower, the melody grew louder, resonating in their chests like a heartbeat. The entrance was a massive archway carved with intricate symbols that matched those on the compass. "This is it," Alex said, stepping inside. The interior of the tower was breathtaking. The walls were made of translucent crystal, reflecting and amplifying the light from an unseen source. In the center of the room stood a pedestal, and on it rested a small, glowing orb. As Alex and Mia approached, a voice echoed through the chamber. It was deep and calm, yet carried an air of authority. "You have reached the final test. To claim the truth you seek, you must answer one final question together." Alex and Mia exchanged a glance, then turned toward the orb as the voice continued. "What is the greatest strength of humanity?" Mia furrowed her brow. "The greatest strength? That could mean so many things. Love, courage, intelligence." Alex nodded thoughtfully, but the voice said we have to answer together. "Maybe it's about what we've learned on this journey." They fell silent, reflecting on their experiences, the shadowy guardian's question about their fears, the choices they made on the bridge, and the lessons of honesty and determination. "I think it's about connection," Mia said finally. "All of this, our fears, our choices, they've brought us closer and helped us understand each other better." Alex smiled. "And that connection gives us courage. It's what makes us stronger together than we are alone." Mia nodded. "So, our answer is connection?" "Yeah," Alex said, his voice steady. "That's our answer." They stepped forward and placed their hands on the orb. The chamber filled with light, and the voice spoke again, this time with warmth. "You have answered wisely. Connection is indeed humanity's greatest strength, for it binds us, inspires us, and gives meaning to our lives. You have proven your worth." The orb dissolved into light, and the compass in Alex's hand began to glow brightly. When the light faded, they found themselves standing outside the tower, the valley stretching before them. Conclusion: the journey home, approximately 500 words. The siblings stared at the compass, which now shone with a soft golden light. The needle no longer pointed in a single direction, it spun freely, as if its purpose had been fulfilled. "What do you think this means?" Mia asked, holding the compass. Alex smiled. "I think it means we found what we were looking for. Not just answers, but something bigger, something about ourselves." Mia nodded, a newfound confidence in her eyes. "We didn't just follow the compass, we found our own way." As they began their journey back home, the landscape seemed brighter, more alive. The challenges they had faced felt distant now, replaced by a sense of accomplishment and clarity. "I guess Grandpa was right," Alex said, glancing at Mia. The compass wasn't just about finding treasure or wisdom. It was about helping us see what really matters. Mia smiled. "And what's that?" Alex grinned. "Us, together." The melody from the tower echoed faintly in the distance, a reminder of their journey and the truth they had uncovered. As the siblings walked side by side, they carried not just the compass, but the lessons they had learned, the courage to face their fears, the wisdom to make choices, and the strength that came from their connection. Their journey had ended, but their story was just beginning.